Greetings, I'm Tim of Govberg, and welcome to the world of Officine Panerai. Today, I'll be your guide to the Panerai Luminor 1958 Days GMT Oro Rosso PAM 576. This 44mm red gold timepiece is best described by starting from the outside and working our way in. This is an upscale and versatile Panerai reference with considerably more elegance than its historical antecedents, but all of their durability and utility. Now, the story of this watch starts with a beautiful high-polish Panerai pin buckle with inset engraved Panerai marquee. It continues with an upscale and very substantial contrasting stitch dark brown alligator leather strap. Now, the contrasting stitch halfway between ecru and gold is a beautiful match to the brown of the strap, the gold of the case, and the brown of the dial, and on its underside it features a rich and supple calfskin for suppless against the skin. Now, the watch features a Panerai manufacture caliber P2002, executed entirely in-house at Panerai's Neuchâtel, Switzerland manufacture. The movement fills the entirety of the case back, and this is significant as Panerai constructs its cases, its dials, and its movements, each one specifically to match the other. As a true manufacturer, this movement fills the entirety of the case back of its containment vessel. You'll also note historic tributes in the form of a three-quarter style bridge. Though partitioned for ease of service, it features the mass and the aesthetic of the mid-century pocket watch calibers that powered Panerai combat watches of the Italian Navy's amphibious corps. However, modern technology is at play here in the form of three mainspring barrels, endowing the watch with 8 days of power reserve manually wound and a dual-anchored balance bridge, a full bridge with a free-sprung index. Those two features combined with a 4 Hz modern beat rate enable the watch to shake off most vibration and shock-induced timing deviations that would prey on conventional and less durable timepiece architectures. Now, it's also important to note that this movement features a second time zone and immense complexity by virtue of 21 pivot jewels and 247 parts. Now, its three mainspring barrels and advanced balance architecture hide two highly convenient refinements. The first being a zero reset and stop seconds function. When you pull the crown to its outermost position, you halt the balance and you halt the advance of the seconds hand, but you also index it to 12 o'clock on the second subdial at 9 o'clock. Now you can move the minute hand to the next nearest minute, and comparing the watch to a reference time such as an atomic clock, wait for the reference to catch up, then lower the crown, resume the beat of the balance. Now you've synchronized your watch precisely to your reference time. However, there is another feature that can be used both for time zone jumpers and for setting the local time independent of your second time zone. This is an intermediate position between winding and outermost where you can advance the hour hand, and you'll notice how the hour hand, the local time, drives the date disc at 3 o'clock. Now, of course, this is how you set your watch independently of the second time zone, for which there is a clear AM-PM distinction. It's the small triangular index on the subdial at 9 o'clock. The seconds hand is superimposed over it. It gives a subtle indication of whether you are, for instance, looking at a time after 7 a.m. or a time after 7 p.m. So you won't be making middle-of-the-night wake-up calls to far-flung family, friends, and business connections. And of course, to preserve the symmetry of the dial, the subdial counterbalanced by the date, the marquee is counterbalanced by an 8-day linear power reserve that moves from left to right as you wind the watch, up to its maximum rated power reserve of 8 days. Now, the case, as well as the hands and the pin buckle, feature Panerai's unique 5NPT red gold in the sensuous 1950 style case. It's important to note this is not pink gold, this is not rose gold, it is Oro Rosso, and that by virtue of the 5N combination of gold and copper. That gives it its richness, but Panerai goes one step further with its 5NPT alloy. It creates a rose gold that turns red and then stays that way. That's the benefit of platinum. It prevents the watch from oxidizing in the form of chemicals, in the form of cosmetics, in the form of atmospheric oxygen, so that it maintains that vivid red richness long term. Now, of course, it is still a Panerai Luminor, so it features the iconic cushion case, straight lugs, and device protecting the crown. The crescent-shaped crown guard provides all-aspect coverage, far superior to a conventional shouldered crown guard, but it's also a modern industrial design icon, and just as when it was first invented in the 1950s, today it maintains that all-aspect protection, plus the ease of use. Far easy to unlock than a tight, screwed-down crown. You simply lift the iconic lever, now you can wind the watch, you can set the watch, and all that easily when hands are wet, sweaty, or gloved. It still maintains both its aesthetic and its mechanical and practical advantages over conventional crowns over half a century after its inception. You can see this and the entire Panerai family of models on our website, govbergwatches.com.